Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and the hotel is amazing. The trip was really nice. Our guests were really, really fantastic. It was a red eye. They all fell asleep. We did have one baby who was crying quite a bit, but what do you do? They're babies. And the red eye was long. It felt very long, but well worth it because once we got to the hotel, they had a free breakfast for us that was out of this world. Unbelievable. For you vegetarians out there, I am so sorry. The bacon at this hotel, I'm going to bid for layovers just because of the bacon. It's super thick, smoky, and crisp without being brittle. And it was like coated in black pepper. I mean, it was like candy. It was so good. Desmond, we have one more flight together. Desmond and I were chatting up the server, Danielle, and she was super, super nice. And we chatted about how flight attendants treat servers at hotels, and she said our airline is pretty good for the most part, which is nice to hear. But we both commented on how much we love this bacon. She gave us little to-go cartons and allowed us to take some bacon back to our room. I mean, come on. This is why you treat your servers really well at hotels. Desmond was very generous and he tipped very nicely for the table. So we will get more bacon next time we're here. Yay. All right, so I didn't want to film a video about bacon, but I could. Oh, so good. Take a sip of this coffee. So, my last video, oh, I apologize. I look like hell. I didn't shave. I didn't take a razor with me. And I'm just wearing my undershirt because I don't feel comfortable wearing my uniform on camera anymore. Our airline did not specifically say, I don't think, not to wear our uniform anymore, but really to take any signifying, like our name badge, our wings, and our ID and stuff off. Because, they don't want me being their spokesperson. Trust me. If you read my about section, I say that, like, if you knew my taste in boyfriends, you wouldn't follow any advice I give you. So certainly, the airline does not want me to be the face of my airline. So I understand the uniforms thing. So I'd rather just not wear my uniform on camera anymore. I'll do my best to do that, to follow that suggestion. So why am I chatting with you guys today? The last video I filmed about one aspect of customer service, which I think is love, and I think is the most important part of customer service, and everything would come back to it in the end. I chatted with you guys a little bit about love and how you can bring some of that to work as a flight attendant. And I said I would do a couple of the videos or a little series on different aspects of customer service outside of love. And so I wrote some notes down before I passed out last night. I was so tired. Or this morning. We have a 13-hour layover here, so it's not very long. I wrote down some notes here. One other aspect of customer service I'd like to chat about is energy and tone. Energy and tone have been my Achilles heel, whatever. It's been a real challenge for me over the decades in any career I've had. Every manager I've ever had has said, Stephen, we know you have the best of intents, but you're a little loud and you go on a little too long. Trust me, you're not the first person who thought that I talked for too long. Trust me, every manager I've ever had. But I've been trying to work on my energy level and my tone and how to modulate that for different people for many, many years. And I can't say I've really succeeded 100%, but for the most part, I come across as a good guy and people understand that I'm there to help. And I'm usually not too overbearing, but let's start talking. So I wrote some notes down here. The first thing I wrote down was, do you know when you first get your first customer service job and they say, smile when you talk on the phone? Because the customer or the person on the other end hears that smile in your tone, right? Well, that is very true. That is very, very true. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for calling. Whatever. Versus, yeah, it's Steve and hi. You know, so that is very, very true. And even if you don't listen to anything else I have to say in this video, which is entirely possible because I talked too long, um, that one point, bring that to work every day, because the tone that we use, even when just boarding, can impact everyone else's, your coworkers. It can affect your guests, your passengers, even the flight deck. You know, it can really impact how you approach people. So try to bring that smile into your voice from the get-go. Let's see. Set off the tone right even before you board the plane. So, what do I mean by that? Let's see. All right, I wrote something else. Your arrival to the gate helps set the tone and helps set up passengers' expectations. What do I mean? So, you know, there's four of you. You're walking to the gate. You've had a 2-hour sit after a long flight, and you really are not, you're not looking forward to this next leg because you're getting to the hotel 2 hours later than you thought. Your layover that was good is now okay, and you're just not in the mood. And all four of you are kind of walking to the gate, dragging your luggage. Ugh, I don't want to do this flight. Can't they just cancel it? Ugh, don't say that out loud in an airport. I'll tell you, the entire boarding area is watching you as you walk towards the gate. They're paying attention. Trust me, if your crew is running late to an aircraft, they're gonna all applaud, like, oh yeah, thanks for showing up to work. They may not know that the shuttle broke down or something, but every passenger, every guest is actually watching you as you walk to work. So my suggestion, I'm not telling you what to do, my suggestion and something I try to do is I try to approach the gate like I'm going to work. Very much like when you went to interview for this job, you were on a long interview from the time you showed up at the hotel until the time that you got your CJO or you left the hotel to wait for a CJO. You were on an interview that whole time. People were watching you every step of the way. Same story here. I really think that our guests, who keep us employed, by the way, are watching you every step of the way. So I would suggest approaching the gate and approaching your work even before you're being paid, even before you step on that airplane. Try to approach it smiling with a positive energy, even if you have to fake it. You know, no one. I would not want to be a passenger and to watch my cabin crew approaching the gate grumbling or dragging their feet or just miserable. It would not. It would already color my experience before getting on board. Let's see. All right, so that's before you get on board. Once you get on board, what did I write? I wrote a few things down here. Some like it quiet and other people want a real show. All right, so I'm all about the show. I love to talk. If you've ever flown with me and I've been lead, you know I enjoy a little bit of a show. I don't mind the attention. I have no qualms about being on the PA and chatting with them. I have a very hard time hitting a script. So I know what I have to say, and I'm going to say it with my own personality. I'm going to try and keep it brief because I can just go on and on. And some people really enjoy it. Other people just don't want to hear it, and they're doing their best to ignore me. It may be safety information, I understand, but some people just don't. They just want to get on that plane, put their sleep mask on, sit back, and go to sleep. They don't want to hear my whole show and my whole spiel. So even as they're coming on board, and I'm greeting them, hey, how are you? Welcome aboard. I love your coat, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting a little bit of a feel for people as they come on board, especially if they're going to be sitting in my area of compliance or if they're going to be sitting right in front of me. Trying to gauge their temperament and their tones so that I know to either bring a quiet show, use my indoor voice, be very calming, or if these people really enjoy some great interaction and conversation, we can kind of get into it and have a great time. I try to be mindful and cognizant of their behaviors before I start to do my thing. Does that make any sense? I hope so. So, some people like it nice and quiet. They don't really want to hear from their cabin crew. They really don't. Like on a red eye, for the first couple of minutes, people want to chat. They want to say where they're going, why they're going there. But they're ready for a nap. And I have to be aware of that and not keep them up with my craziness, because I can be a little crazy. Let's see. Moderate your volume and tone to mimic theirs. This is an old sales trick, sales technique. If you're working in a store, I spent most of my career working in luxury retail. And when you're trying to form a relationship and have some sort of sympathy and empathy and understanding, if they're quiet and they're simple and they're just very humble and they're just making small gestures, to be that loud, brash salesperson, like grabbing their hand, putting a ring on it, or whatever, over the top, you're going to lose the sale. They're going to run away in fear. But instead, I'm going to try to bring my voice quieter, make smaller gestures, ask permission, may I show you this ring? And kind of play down to their tone. Whereas if I meet someone who's really over the top, having a great time, I'm going to match that tone. I'm not sure if I said mimic. I did mimic their tone, their attitudes. If they make simple gestures like a hand to the chin or across the arm, or they tilt their head a little bit, don't mimic them like this is like some sort of game, but sort of, find yourself accepting a similar posture or a similar attitude, maybe a similar gesture. You might touch your face for a moment. This is just a basic sales technique in terms of communicating and making sure that someone feels comfortable with you on the same level. Now, I try to bring that to work as well. So once again, if the first 5 rows in front of me when I'm in the front of the aircraft, they're all kind of quietly chatting, I'm not going to interrupt. Hey, what's going on over here? Or if they are really want to talk, but it's like a little old lady, I'm going to kind of get down to her level and say, yes, hi, what's going on? What can I do for you? So try to either not mimic, but follow along in the same tone as their postures, their gestures, and their tone and speaking voice. It just makes every interaction easier. Let's see. Switch up comments and compliments between guests. Now, you may not be this person. I am. I swear, if we have 228 people getting on board an aircraft, 200 of them are probably going to hear something from me about, oh, hey, maybe not 200, but a lot. Oh, hey, great haircut. That's great. Or, hey, I love your glasses. You can see I'm not wearing mine right now, but hey, great glasses. Or, oh my God, I love that pendant. Or, hey, I saw you have a pillow and a blanket and snacks. Who's ready for a nap? That's my favorite. So a lot of people are going to hear something from me as they get on board. I'm going to switch it up a little bit so that no one's hearing me say the same thing to them as I said to the person before them. I'm also probably going to try and take a break between 2 or 3 people and say, hi, just a welcome aboard, or hi, how are you? So that I don't have to say something to everyone and it sounds a little bit more genuine. Another point on that, always be genuine. Never lie. Don't make up a compliment. If you don't see anything nice about the person who's coming on board, say, hi, welcome aboard. I'm glad you joined us. Because, if someone comes in and says, oh, Stephen, I just love your hair. It's so thin. I call BS. Okay, so I already know this person's a liar and I'm going to pass by and not listen to them. So switch up your compliments, your comments, take a break between a few of them, and always be genuine. If you don't see something nice instantly, or if you've not practiced a skill of giving people compliments or looking for nice things to say, just don't do it at all. A real genuine welcome aboard. I'm glad you joined us is playing. All right. All right. Recognize physical cues. Story about server at PF Chang's. So a couple of days ago, this lovely woman Tiffany brought me to lunch as a thank you, and I still am talking about it. It was such a nice experience, and we had a server who was fantastic. Our server was at PF Chang's at Planet Hollywood. I forgot his name. Oh gosh, he looked like a biker, big long beard, jewelry all over his hand, tattoos. Totally not what I would think typically at PF Chang's. As a server, but he was really quite cool, very Vegas. And he was super welcoming, super accommodating, super attentive. And every time he came over, he asked a really great question or made a comment. He invited us to join their frequent diners club. And he invited us in such a way that really made me want to join this club and give him my personal information, which I never do. He was just really engaging, and it was a super nice experience until it became too much. And I'm so guilty of this. I joke in a couple of videos that I end up being sort of like a golden retriever. I'm like super nice. Hi, what's going on? Let's chat, blah, 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 blah. And it's like nice for about 10 minutes. Then it's like, all right, down boy, like, oof, give us a breather. Give us a minute. This server was super, super, super amazing until it got to be too much. And it was like every time, not every time, but frequently, Tiffany and I would be talking, and then the server comes over. Hey, what's going on? How is that? It's good, thanks. And he always spoke to us from, not that I expect a server to crouch down to eye level, but the fact that he was kind of tall and he's standing really way up high looking down at us and all this energy thrown at us, it felt after a certain point less than nice. It felt kind of intrusive, not predatory, but it was definitely like, whew, like back up. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. It was a lesson to me because I can be like that when I'm on an aircraft. Again, I try to moderate my tone and follow cues, but this waiter was not taking any of our physical cues. When Tiffany and I are leaning in to talk to each other and we're clearly in a conversation, the server comes over. Hey, what's going on? What about this dessert I talked to you about earlier? The dessert sounded delicious. But after the third time he talked about it, I didn't want it anymore. Plus, I'm trying to lose weight. So I know I've made the point somewhere within that little ramble about PF Chang's. Recognize physical cues. When your guests or your passengers are coming on board and their arms are crossed and they look really furtive, not like they're going to be a risk for breaching the cockpit, but if they just look uncomfortable and nervous, ask, hey, how are you? Welcome aboard. Are you a first-time flyer? And they might say, no, I'm a little nervous. And you get to take care of that person and make sure that they feel better. Or if they're shaking and they're getting a little irritated and upset, they may have just broken up with someone or whatever, and they don't want to talk about it. But try to follow physical cues. It can really stop you from stepping on their toes or encourage you to do the next right thing. What else? Let's see. Recognize physical cues. Be mindful of the time of day. We just had this red eye last night. And so I tried to make all the announcements I had to make at the time, like when we were about to close the boarding door. Hey, folks, our boarding door is about to close. Now is the time to please put your phones on airplane mode. Please make sure that all your stuff is under the seat, blah, blah, blah. But I also made a brief announcement saying that we're going to be doing our service, our snack and beverage service, shortly after takeoff. And knowing that many of you will be taking a nap, I'm going to ask you now if you would like something to eat or drink. Please take a moment to look at your menu while you're waiting for the boarding door to close. Know that we take debit and credit cards only. We don't take cash. and that I don't want to wake you up during the flight. So if you have, if you're gonna, we're gonna ask you to wear your seatbelts during the flight, even if the seatbelt sign is off. But if you're gonna take a nap, please buckle up over whatever you're gonna be covering yourself with, like a blanket or something, so that I can see that you're not that you're buckled in. I don't have to wake you up to make sure that you're nice and safe. I make those announcements so that I don't have to chat with them over the PA system while they're trying to sleep, because it's a late night flight. So I try to be cognizant of their needs, of course, and the lighting and all those things. So if it's at nighttime and they really want to sleep, I want to make all of my little announcements before they go to sleep, and let them know of their need to buckle up and make sure I can see that they're buckled, because I don't want to shake them awake. It would be inconsiderate. One other time I would be aware of the time of day and my announcements. I guess the early morning is the same story. When we arrived into Columbus this morning, I did want to do a service and make snacks and beverages available, coffee, things like that. But I also didn't want to wake them up unnecessarily. So I tried to make my announcement about service nice and quiet, so that those people who are awake or traveling with someone who's napping had enough notice that we were going to be moving through the cabin. But I didn't want to be like, hey guys, and then turn the lights on real bright, So I'm trying to make sure that everyone's comfortable. Please and thank yous. I don't think I really should have to tell you guys this. And if you're watching my videos, you are already trying to do the work and you're investing the time necessary to prepare yourself for your interview or for this job or for this lifestyle. So I probably don't need to tell you to say please and thank you and mean it. I probably don't need to tell you that, but I see it often enough when doing service for snacks and beverages, not on my own, just on my own airline, on other airlines too. I do fly. I fly Frontier, I fly JetBlue, I fly Delta and Southwest fairly often. And most often I'm treated really nicely. But you hand them your credit card, and sometimes I just get the card handed back to me or the snack. And it's not always a please or a thank you, and a little please and thank you goes a real long way. Ask your mom, she'll tell you. Let's see. Smile. Now, this goes really back to my interview videos. Smile. When I was part of the interview process for a hiring event back in February, I can probably count on two hands how many people smiled during that Goldfish Bowl question, that Miss America question that we got during an interview. Most people seem to be a little nervous, a little anxious, and I was expecting a lot more smiling. There wasn't a lot of smiling. On board, we're asked to, when doing the safety demo, for example, look like you're having a nice time. Smile. Try to smile. Let me pull something. This is one of my do not disturb tags. Isn't that cute? Look, it's my favorite. I got this at IKEA. This is the O2 mask, and I'm letting you know that the oxygen bag, the bag may not fully inflate, but you're still receiving oxygen. We use our fingers to kind of move up and down the bag. I'm going to be like, I'll smile, do some sort of gesture. Some of my coworkers and some other airlines are like, and it's just this passive energy. Look like you're having a great time. Smile. It does impact a customer's experience, and they may pay more attention to you if you look like you're having a nice time. And it's important information. I think that's what else did I write down here? I think that's really some pointers or my experience of what I try to bring to work in terms of customer service and my energy and my tone. I try to make sure that it's consistent, that I'm aware of it during the entire flight. I try to start before the flight even begins. Even in approaching the gate, I want to show up to work smiling, looking happy, and helpful. In one of my recent videos, I talked about how some flight attendants hide from passengers, because they just don't want to be bothered by passengers asking for directions, or, hey, where's baggage claim? Well, there's 50 signs, baggage claim. But don't be like, yeah, follow the signs. Give them the directions, smile. It doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt. And I'll tell you, it sets the tone for their experience on the flight you're on, but it also helps set their experience and set their expectations for future flights with our airline. Because we're not just dealing with our guests and our passengers today. I would like to think that we're ambassadors for our airline, the industry in general, and that we want to make our flying more approachable, more enjoyable, so that they fly with us again in the future. Because if they don't fly again with us, I don't have a job. And I like my job, right? All right, so I have a feeling I've been talking for long enough. If you have any ideas or any examples that you have used at work, and it doesn't have to be as a flight attendant, but how have you used your tone and your energy level to help you have an easier day at work? I'd love to hear. Or leave any comment, but be nice. Most of you are. Most of you are very, very generous. But I'm going to let you guys go. I've got about 10 minutes before I have to be downstairs for the van. So I will talk to you later. Bye. I'm going to just turn my camera and turn it off. Bink.